All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Bungo Stray Dog, Season 3, Episode 2.
All right, we're in the past, and we're dealing with Chuuya and Dazai's origins, if you will, as friends, partners, and,
potentially more. Yeah, they met, and, they got up to a great start, all things considered.
All things considered,
And now, they're just on a little date. I mean, trip, it's for business, not pleasure.
Investigations.
Right.
Yeah.
But a house just went up
serious.
in flames, so they'll probably need to investigate that.
Yeah. So given that we're going to be focusing on the port mafia but just in this past kind of point and stuff like that, I just wanted to clarify that we get that this is long before the movie.
Right.
That's why I was kind of confused in the previous episode.
The 1 year ago thing was on top of an already different timeline.
Exactly. Yeah. So now, given that we are seeing them at this really, really young stage, we're going to see not just the formation of them building this synergy to where they figure out how to work
together and
how to use their abilities in tandem, so that Chuuya can go all out. We're going to learn a lot more probably about what kind of organizations were around back at this point, because so far, no ADA kind of mentioned and stuff like that. So that might not be a thing yet. So,
probably not.
Yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Okay.
All right.
Cool.
We've got a resolution to this investigative mystery and such.
And we had something that Dazai did not see coming.
No.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
I loved
No wonder he took the bet.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, sure.
Yeah. Right. I'll help you investigate this. Yeah. Sure.
Why not?
Why are you the one that's so interested in this? No reason,
Right.
Does it have something to do with why you hold yourself back when you fight,
or why you feel like you need to help the people that whose lives have been devastated by this event?
Yeah.
Right.
I see you, Bungou. That was some good setup there. Because cool. One of the things that's really interesting about this world is it very much has this not humanistic, but kind of really interesting philosophical angle on the side of things, and the idea that some of these people would get so powerful that they would essentially be like gods. Chuuya, in a lot of ways, with that kind of power.
I mean, he literally defeated Cthulhu.
Yeah,
so,
he's so powerful that he needs his limiter to be that there's a form of his ability that is a rampancy bit that would just kill him. Because it makes his ability beyond basically his mortal frame of a human body, basically. So now we're going to get into that, learn a little bit more about the nature of it, have maybe a little bit of an understanding of what were the events that led to that point. Probably because given that Chuuya would have been only 7 years old at the time, it probably wasn't something conscious. It probably wasn't something that, he meant to do, or he was maybe even necessarily forced to do. It probably was just an accident, just a really just screwed up situation.
Yep. Something happened, and then all of a sudden, there you go. Right.
Yep.
And that would be a great foundation then for why it would be so important for him to then be close to Dazai moving forward, is because then he realizes, oh, hey, there's someone that I can actually truly be me around, Cool.
Yeah. And all this set up for the fact that we're getting this other plot that's been going along with the fact that the Port Mafia boss hasn't been resurrected necessarily, but he has been cited, which isn't connected.
Yeah, I'm still not entirely sure how those
two things are connected.
How
they're
that
not
plays out.
I think the point is that they're not connected. Is that's something that they believe is connected to this thing because it's some godlike being, obviously, right? It would have to be.
Sure. So the barrier guy sets up the whole thing of, making it seem like the old boss is back.
Right. Yep.
Cool. And he attributes it to the devastation caused by Chuuya previously, and tries to basically claim it as his own, kind of. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And yet, there's no way he could handle all those sightings.
Yeah, it's something where I'm.
That's why I feel like there's.
I
something
don't know how he
it.
actually did it. Is the thing. There's the idea that he did it, that they were able to catch him based on his verbiage and everything. Mm-hmm. Cool, but how does like his barrier ability help him either cause these?
Well, he doesn't need to be using it with his ability necessarily. He could just have other people that are setting up these kinds of things.
Right, the whole black fire thing that they talked about. Right. Yeah.
But I definitely do think that they're trying to like hint that there was something that he was trying to take advantage of with this.
Right. I feel like there's still more that we need
vengeance against the Port Mafia.
Sure. Yeah, because he was able to put 2 and 2 together of what happened with Mori. Because I mean, I'm sure you're very good, Mori, but how would you make a slit throat look like a disease? Right?
Well, I'm sure no one saw the body.
Sure.
He probably did a good job of that, but I think it's more of just the fact of how Mori succeeded the boss.
Yeah. Who benefits from this?
Yeah.
Right?
He doesn't need to have proof. He just needs to suspect that Mori is behind this.
It's like, Mori probably had the ambition and everything, and then all of a sudden he dies, and Mori and this one other dude are the only people who like witnessed the boss. The boss's last will and testament. Basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's mighty sus. So
yeah, exactly.
I think that's all he would really need.
Yep. And then by causing this kind of, chaos, mayhem, basically, he might be able to try and keep the idea of the old boss alive, even if it's not actually the old boss, Get Mori for what he did.
Yeah. And it's just a bunch of chaos in that regard. But this being the setup for really more of a Chuuya-focused episode, because we also got 2 of Chuuya's friends in the Sheep Gang, which I really liked when they showed up because, one, the setting for the arcade was hilarious.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
Also, the setup for it to be combined with a bet with Chuuya that's going to keep him in the Port Mafia's kind of whole dynamic before the sheep members come in here and try to pull him away, basically. Like in a lot of ways, like this is the kind of thing where I almost wonder if them playing in this area like is the kind of thing of where they're like, oh, we're clearly in sheep territory. Odds are Chuuya being the leader and this organization being pretty decently big, and we're at a kid's place, an arcade, he could bump into one of his actual like gang members here, and I could reinforce his connection to me by making him promise to do this silly bet before they show up.
All right.
And it's a bit of plot convenience, but it's also just a thing of where we're like, oh, okay, this is how serious this is for Chuuya, thus also setting up more foreshadowing that he's Akihabara. Or not Akihabara. Wow, that's
yes, Chuuya is Akihabara.
You heard it here first, folks. That was amazing. Oh my god.
Boy.
Whatever the fuck this thing is called.
Yeah.
Arahabaki.
Arahabaki.
It's close enough.
It's Akihabara from now on.
Wait, it actually has all the same.
Yeah. It's just take the ra and the key.
It just mixes all the kanji up.
Yep.
So I just had a little bit of a stroke there, and I literally took all the kanji that are in there and I just mixed them all up.
Yep.
See, I knew Akihabara was a god. Like,
God. That's actually the deep lore is that's how Akihabara, the actual like place, came about. Is that a long time ago, Chuuya ended up like flattening an area of land, right? And then they just rebuilt everything after.
No. He felt bad about doing that, so he rebuilt it as a shrine to what the people there, were very proud of. And he saw one random, bit of hentai and, a cat at the same time. And he's like, cat
it was
girls.
Just an organization of
a
bunch of like kids, that then recreated it. So naturally it's all, like goofy stuff and whatnot. But, oh man. All right. I'm now calling him Akihabara. There we go.
Oh, it's perfect. But I just love that setup for a scene, because we now get to see what it's like for him to be a leader, and that, well, he kind of does need to follow this through the end for them. Like, these are the kids that he's doing this for. He can't explain it to them because, well, one, he feels probably really bad about what he did
to a
lot of their families.
I'm sure none of them know.
Like, they're probably orphaned or something because of him. But also just the idea that, that event and all that, this guy's really smart. If I give any little hints away,
he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out, yeah.
But then also the idea that the way it showed that the kids were dependent on him.
Yes.
I feel like that, one, that's just good to have in general in this kind of situation, even if Chuuya wasn't the one who caused the crater, right?
Because he's the leader.
Because he's the leader, right? And as powerful as he is, and given the fact that not everybody has abilities, even if they have a cool anime character design, right?
Yeah. Switchblade,
Yeah, exactly. Switchblade. That's cool and all.
Yeah.
But, that's also cute, dude, right?
Right.
So in this situation, they're starting to put all these pressures on him because you're the only one who can do the stuff, right? We are not actually able to take care of ourselves.
Yeah, so take responsibility, dude, and fight back.
Right. And the thing is, he didn't fight back, but he got them what they needed, or rather Dazai did.
Well,
him interacting with Dazai in Dazai's, whim, basically, allowed them to get their people back.
Right.
Cool.
Because Dazai wants Chuuya as an ally. He's not trying to, antagonize him with his jokes.
Well, I mean...
well, no, not really.
Right, exactly.
He is trying to make fun of him and have it, but he's not trying to actually antagonize him.
Right, he's not... He doesn't want to push him away, but at the same time, he doesn't want to have him get too comfortable, No,
but I'm meaning in that Dazai is a serious manipulator.
Oh, absolutely.
And that he is also doing this in front of Chuuya, so that he's like, no, you need me.
You kind of owe me, and
you kind of owe me too.
You get a lot out of being around me and in having this kind of connection dynamic, etc.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah. I really love this, and the reveal was framed so well. I was like, oh my god, it's him. That's it. It just all clicked.
And the thing is that it's the kind of thing that was blatantly obvious in the first 20 seconds of this backstory, like from the previous episode, because you see this giant crater and it's like, hi Chuuya, right? But then all this other stuff comes in that I didn't really follow or make much sense of, and it's like, okay, so something else is going on, but no, don't worry, it's Chuuya.
It's actually the simplest answer.
Yeah, exactly.
That was perfect. So can't wait for the next episode to get into the dynamic of Chuuya's ability, but also potentially setting up something that could be a really cool way to show that he becomes, a really what are they called in the Port Mafia? Executives?
Yes.
Yeah. How he basically sets that up. Because I could see him setting things up in a way where he becomes a little bit like Otasaku, in that he basically joins the Port Mafia as an executive in exchange for all these kids basically being under my protection,
right? Because it's the kids are part of his sub turf within the Port Mafia, and maybe
in exchange the Port Mafia maybe gets all that turf,
exactly,
and they are the enforcers that they use for this area, but
it feels like
Chuuya also was responsible for that location or something.
It feels to me like a more extreme example of Otasaku's whole thing of taking care of the orphans, right? Where instead of 5 orphans at a cafe or whatever, above a cafe, it's city, right? And because I'm much higher up, than say Otasaku, right? It's just that I can do that, right?
And I would love to see how this plays into Dazai's characterization, because as we can see right here, he has no value for life. He does not care about the orphans. He is very much completely disconnected from humanity, from life in general. We see a Dazai that very much is okay with, I could die, but I'd rather it be a really good death,
And even when he did the whole thing of shooting the dude, that was bleeding out and stuff.
Yeah.
At first I thought he was going to do that as a way to leverage information, right?
Right.
I can shoot you in the leg and make it worse. Yeah. I can shoot you in the head and end the suffering.
Right.
Take your pick, right? And then what will you give me to convince me to do that? But instead, it was almost it gave me Joker vibes of wanting to basically prove that deep down there were other people that yearned for death, right? And so it's what do you want, right? Oh yeah, you don't even deserve this, and then he just keeps shooting him.
So good,
right, exactly.
Death is so just perfect and just, yeah.
But he had like, other than the desire to, say, mutilate a body, right? He had no reason necessarily to do that, and he could have mutilated the body anyways, even if the guy didn't want him to, right? You know?
Yeah.
So, but it was specifically to get the guy to make the decision, right? Of, yes, please kill me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Ooh, Dazai, you got some problems.
Oh, yeah.
You might need, actually, someone like Chuuya.
Well, but at the same time, you know, you might... Bringing an emotional baggage into a relationship doesn't necessarily mean that there will be good longevity.
But if you go long term, I mean, in some ways, I'm really looking forward to that moment where Chuuya shows how much he can be a helpful force for Dazai.
Yeah,
and
one of the things I'm kind of curious about is that since the mystery seems to be basically solved, and while they might do like a fight next episode, you know, like
I could definitely see there being a big fight next episode.
But even then, you know, it probably wouldn't last more than the one episode, right? Because
it depends, because he could go rampant.
Chuuya?
Chuuya. Yeah.
Oh, totally. Right.
Yeah.
Or, yes, there is the possibility that because, like, if Chuuya goes totally crazy or whatever, then it spills out into more than just defeating this guy here. Right.
It's, can we get Dazai to touch him?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Probably not. You know?
But even if that happens, that will still, like, you know, we were talking about, is this going to go for the full season? Now I'm thinking it
might be ending pretty quickly.
It might be ending, like, really quickly.
It depends. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then what's going to be the tone for the rest of the season? Are we going to see, like, Dazai and Chuuya over the years in the Port Mafia, you know?
I can actually really see that being the case, yeah.
Because they kind of just met, right? Like, we might be able to see, based on how the bet plays out or whatever, if Dazai's like, I knew that you were the god the whole time, you know? Like,
I don't think he knew.
I don't think he did.
I don't think he did.
And even if he does, Chuuya could be like, well, you didn't say it, so... You know, sucks for you, right?
But that could be their eternal debate. He's like, you're my dog for life. He's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, and even like the thing of like, all right,
bitch, you know?
we need to catch the person who did this. I figured it out, but I caught him. You know, like
right.
Yeah.
But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.